I was 4 years old. My parents were told I would walk a difficult path in life, but I never wanted to be different. Growing up, I always did my best to fit in with the world around me, taking on the identity set out before me. Jess Goldberg, Jewish girl from Buffalo. Yet somehow I never quite fit the mold. "Are you a boy or a girl?" they would ask. They couldn't put me into one of their boxes, so I was left in isolation. The world forced me into a dress, but I felt at home in a suit. I grew up feeling trapped by my body and the world around me, until one day I found my salvation, Tifka's. On the outside, Tifka's looked like any bar in Niagara Falls, but when I entered the back room, I knew I had found my place. For the first time, I saw strong, burly women dressed in suits and jackets like me, dancing with other women in dresses and high heels. It was a beautiful sight to see. I had finally found my salvation from a world that didn't seem to understand me, and it made my life at home a little bit more bearable. In bars like Tifka's, I was a butch, the women in dresses were femmes, and we were a community united together against the outside world that didn't understand us and would channel that into violence. I grew up in these bars, surviving police raids, work in the factories, and the ups and downs of being in love with my butch community by my side. Though there were fights, we eventually realized that we were stronger united than we were divided. The older butches toughened me up and taught me valuable lessons about life and love in a harsh world that was changing before our eyes. My whole world changed when I met Teresa. The moment she caught my eye, she became my life. Unfortunately, the world outside our happy life wasn't so perfect. I was out of work, and my woman's body wouldn't allow me to keep a job. The other butches talked about trying male hormones, and I couldn't help but consider it. But when I told Teresa, she was less than happy. She had taken on a job at a local college and was starting to join the women's movement. The more Teresa started to get involved, the more I felt like I didn't fit in, like I wasn't part of her world or the world of women in general. She couldn't understand how trapped I felt by my body, and it drove us apart. After Teresa and I broke up, I was so lost. I began taking the male hormones, and suddenly I had the body I had always dreamed of, broad-shouldered, flat-chested, with a deep voice and beard to match. I could even pass as a man in public. But I didn't want to hide my true self. I just wanted to be me, not the stranger I saw in the mirror. I stopped taking the hormones and eventually changed, not back to a woman, but into a blend of both bodies. My differences were obvious, and I no longer felt welcome in Buffalo, so I packed my things and moved to New York City. In New York, I met Ruth, a kindred soul, born a man living as a woman. She softened my stone butch exterior, toughened from years of abuse and hate. She made me realize that I wasn't alone, that even though we were neither and both, we found courage and support in each other. She showed me that I could make my world a world worth living in, and though I did walk down a difficult path in my life, I wouldn't be me if I had lived it any other way.